Hello, my wonderful friends at the... Ew, that was gross. Hi guys, today I am filming a boy advice video because boys are confusing and they suck, and I think I have quite a solid amount of experience with them. So we're just gonna hop right into the video. I'm just gonna choose random questions because I haven't looked at this previously. And we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start with the comments. That's how to get over a crush when they have a girlfriend or how to break them up. I'm dead. That's ruthless. And also how to not care what they think. So getting over a crush, I can definitely attest to that. The last guy I talked to, we were basically dating, but we weren't dating. He wasn't my boyfriend. So like, how to get over a guy you never dated. I think to understand with yourself that like they don't hold a high place in your life. Like, yeah, they may consume a lot of your thoughts or whatever, because you know they're your crush. You think about them all the time. You know, that's what you do when you have a crush on somebody. But to understand, since it's just a crush, they don't hold a high value in your life. You could have a crush on the next hot guy you see. So if you think about it in that standpoint and just try to like really like mentally remove yourself from the situation, and him if you need to, help you consume your thoughts with other things. I'm not saying like consume your thoughts with other hot guys, but that is something you could do. You know, what you're interested in, your hobbies. I wouldn't go for breaking them up because, you know, no one wants to be a homewrecker, but at the same time, there's really no such thing as homewrecking, right? Because if a guy allows you to break up that relationship, then it wasn't a solid relationship in the first place, and that is on him. I'm not going to put that on the other girl, but you shouldn't go after a guy that's in a relationship. But if he's coming after you, girl, then you shouldn't want him anyways, because then he's not loyal. And if he's not loyal to her, he's not going to be loyal to you. And how to not care what boys think. The main things that go through their mind are probably like Fortnite, food, sleep, and that's it. So they're not thinking a lot. So you don't need to be worried about what they're thinking. You feel me? How do I approach a boy I've never talked to? This is like what I do. I'm gonna give you guys my tips. I don't really approach guys, but you let them approach you, right? So put yourself in the right place at the right time. So if you know he's gonna be at a party, go to the party. And it's very easy to just randomly make eye contact with someone. It happens all the time. I make eye contact with strangers that I don't want their attention. It's like, oh, look away really quickly. But if I do want their attention, right? It's all in the eyes. Seducing someone is all in the eyes. So if you guys do make eye contact, then like, you know, give him a smirk, give him a smile, maybe wink at him, like look at him for a while and then look away and smile, and give him the opportunity to approach you, because then you don't have to be super bold and make the first move, but he knows that you're interested enough that he's not going to get shot down if he does approach you, because guys don't want to get shot down or rejected either. So they look for girls who possibly might as well be interested. Are college boys different from high school boys? How? So boys are boys, right? But whether they're in high school or whether they're in college, every boy is going to mature at a different rate. So sometimes in high school there will be guys who have their head on straight. If they're in a relationship, they want to be in a relationship and they know how to take care of a girl, and they'll be like that from high school onwards. And there are some guys who in high school they just want to play games and, you know, just have fun because they're young, and then when they get to college they're like, oh, you know, I'm kind of looking for a wife, I want to settle down. But there are also guys who are messing around in high school and they're still going to want to mess around in college, especially the younger years of college, like freshman year, sophomore year. Like they're still not looking for anything serious. So it definitely varies from guy to guy. When should you ask a boy out on a date if you guys have been friends for a while? If you guys have been friends for a while and like you're starting to have feelings for him, if you don't want to be super bold about it, you could like gradually work your way up to that. So say you guys are friends and you have like a big group of friends, and be like, oh, hey, you, me, and 2 or 3 other people, we should go hang out and do something. Like pull away from the bigger group and make it a little more exclusive so that you guys can get more one-on-one time. And then from there, if things start going really well and you do that a couple of times, then you could even pull off more and be like, oh, hey, like you and me should go grab some boba, go grab a bite to eat, but make it like very casual, you know, because you guys are friends. And then from there you can see how you guys interact in a more intimate setting, and then if you want to be more bold and tell him how you feel, then go for it, girl. I am rooting for you. I'm in a long distance relationship. Depending on my life and his, I doubt we will see each other for months and months. How do we keep each other happy and interested? I would say is that, like, this day and age, technology is your best friend. You know, FaceTime as much as you can, talk on the phone as much as you can. Just constantly assuring them that you're thinking about them can be really helpful. Like, whether you're on Twitter and you like just DM them a tweet, it's like, oh, this made me think of you, or this made me laugh, I think it can make you laugh too. And just like little things like that. But only do what you're comfortable with. Like, if you're not comfortable sending pictures, then don't send pictures. But if you are comfortable taking that route, then definitely like explore, or like maybe like try to like tip your toes into like what you're comfortable with, whether that be more explicit texting or phone conversations that are more explicit, if you get what I'm saying. I don't know how old you are, but if you're not over the age of 18, pictures are illegal, just be aware. But yeah, just make sure you're comfortable with whatever you're doing. As far as keeping each other interested, like, it doesn't even have to be like naughty photos. Like, let him into your mind. Like, if you're thinking about something, be able to have like those deeper conversations without being in person, through text or through phone calls. And if you guys want to do stuff together, like, I have a friend who's in a long distance relationship, and her boyfriend will be on FaceTime and then both be on their laptops, and they'll like watch a TV show together, or they'll both be reading the same book at the same time, so then they have something to talk about, and then that's something that draws them closer together. And I think it's so beautiful. How do you reject a guy but still stay friends without it being awkward? By the way, I love you, sunshine. Okay, I can literally relate to this. This guy who I'm friends with now, we're like great friends. I love him with all my heart. He had like a really big crush on me, and I had to reject him, and I ended up dating his best friend. But what I'm saying is, it's definitely possible. I think it depends on how you go about the rejection, right? Like, I was never like, there's a way to reject someone in a rude way and in a nice way. My nice way was just kind of beating around the bush. Like, I never was solidly like, I don't like you, I don't have any interest in you, but I was just kind of like, oh, haha, you have a crush on me, LOL. Like, I would still have conversations with him if he did try to text me or something like that. Like, sometimes I just like wouldn't respond, or it would take a really long time to respond. Like, just kind of hint at the fact that you're not super interested, and then he may get the point. First relationship advice. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to try to be like this perfect girlfriend that you see in the movies and on TV. You are experiencing lust and love for the first time, and that's a beautiful thing, and it should be organic. You know, you shouldn't feel like we need to hang out 24/7 and oh, we need to buy each other gifts for Christmas and every single holiday, and his family needs to love me, and I need to meet every single one of them, and I need to know everything about him. It's not always going to be like that, and if it is, then that's great. Then your first relationship might be your last. But your first relationship is definitely like about learning what you like in a partner, and learning how you deal with commitment and sacrifice, because relationships can come with sacrifice. And just understanding, if something doesn't feel right for you, then that's okay, then that's just not the person for you. But your first relationship doesn't have to be your last by any means. So just be understanding of that, and be open-minded to what a relationship can bring you. What do you personally think is the best characteristic for a male to have? Personally, I think the best characteristic for a male to have is humility. To be able, there's a lot more, sorry, to be able to see their wrongs in things, and to be able to laugh at themselves, and to grow from their mistakes. Like, if a guy is so set in his ways and like he isn't open-minded to growth, then that's so unattractive to me. Like, you need to be able to see when you're wrong and to laugh at yourself, because if that, you're just going to be very stagnant, and that's gross to me. What are sure signs that someone is only using you for sex? I would say that some boys are better at keeping it under wraps than others. I would just look at the way he communicates with you, right? So is he only hitting you up late at night and texting you? Couldn't find my finger. Is he very distant and like doesn't want to have conversations in person around a lot of people? Does he seem to be really interested in a bunch of other girls? Is he very touchy with you instead of like trying to have genuine conversations? Is he always just trying to feel up on you? I think those are some really big signs that he is only using you for sex. What are some tips for a first date? Like, what do I say? Funny lines so I don't bore him. Oh my god, you're so cute. So this is what I usually do on first dates. Guys love to talk about themselves. Everyone loves to talk about themselves. It's like everyone's favorite topic, themselves. But on a first date, I would ask a bunch of questions about them, right? So, what are your hobbies? What are you into? What are you doing this weekend? What's your family like? What's your favorite food? Where's somewhere you really want to travel to? You know, just like kind of like poke at him, get to know him, because then he will feel like you're interested in him, right? Because you're asking questions about him. And so he'll probably ask you on a second date. And with that, he doesn't know a lot about you. Because you're asking and talking so much about him, it leaves a little bit of mystery there. He'll walk away from it like obviously having a great time, but then he'll be like, wait, I didn't really know anything about her. And then you'll seem kind of like mysterious and kind of cool, but don't avoid talking about yourself. So say you guys are talking about, you ask him what's your favorite food, and he says this, and you'd be like, oh my god, I love that food too. Have you been to so-and-so? They have really great whatever your favorite food is. But definitely talk more about him and less about you, so then he doesn't know as much about you, and then he'll come back for more because he wants to know more about you because you're interesting. I have a crush on my ex-best friend's ex. How do I deal with that? If you're like not sure how you feel about the guy, right? Like you kind of have a crush on him, but you're like, oh, this is kind of wrong. Look at why that your ex-best friend and him broke up. Understand what went wrong in that relationship, and if it was something on his part, then be like, do I really have a crush on someone who did this to someone I used to really care about? Even if they don't have like the strongest place in your life anymore, you did love them at a point, and you wouldn't want to be with someone who you know has harmed that person or made them feel less than in any way. Because if they did that to them, they could very easily do it to you. How to have a healthy, non-toxic relationship and how to address problems in a relationship. How to have a healthy, non-toxic relationship, I think that's all about communication and equality. Communication is going to be the number one thing for any relationship. Like any relationship problem I've had or that my friends have, it always stems from a lack of communication. Say someone is doing something that makes you feel this way and it's hurting you. By you not opening up and being like, hey, this hurt my feelings, I don't like the way that this made me feel and you did this, this, and this, then he's never gonna know. The person you're in a relationship is never gonna know that they are harming you in that way if you don't make that clear. And so their actions could be repetitive and they could keep doing those things that are making you feel less than. And then from there, it's gonna boil down up in you and you're gonna feel resentment towards that person, even if it's like to the smallest extent. And that's just not healthy. And lack of communication in all the senses. So say like you're not feeling satisfied in one way, in one sense of your relationship. That's where cheating comes from, because you're not feeling satisfied in what you're getting in your relationship. So you go to look for it in external places. And if you were to sit there and communicate and be like, hey, I'm not getting this from you, what can we do to fix it? Then you could fix the problem and cheating wouldn't be happening. And how to address problems in a relationship, I would say to address a problem in two different ways. So when you're arguing about something, right, and like you have this problem, I would address it in that moment when he's doing that. Be like, see, this is what you're doing right now, like I don't like the way this makes me feel. And then later on, when you guys are more level-headed and the conversation is over, just be like, hey, I want to talk about what we were discussing earlier and to really resolve the problem. Because bringing it up in two senses, when you bring it up the first time, it gives him context, like lets him see like, oh wait, I am doing this. So then when you bring it up later, his emotions are like more taken out of it and he's able to take a step back and be like, okay, like I see what you're saying, you're not crazy, you're not just bringing this up out of the blue, and I understand. But story times about my past relationships, that would have to be a whole separate video because I have some stories. Let me just say. Okay, you guys, that was a lot of questions. I loved filming videos. I love you guys. Some of you guys' questions I couldn't answer because there was literally too many. But I will try to DM and like reply to some of you guys. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye, babes.
that wavy ass hoodie.